All right, guys. So we're going to solve this equation. This is real similar to that last one where we're just going to make a direct substitution here for sine squared so that everything is in terms of cosine. But this is going to be a two-part video because of this guy right here. All right, this is actually the third time that I've done this example. And every time when I get here, I'm trying to figure out how to articulate that. So I'm going to make that into a separate part. All right. All right. So to solve the equation, we're just going to find the answers from 0 to 2 pi to start here. Sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. So I'll have that part. So sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine. And this is equal to 3 cosine. I'm going to distribute my 2 inside. So 2 minus 2 cosine squared is equal to 3 cosine. Next thing I'm going to do is move all of my terms over to one side. I'm actually going to move them to the right side. That way my cosine squared is positive here. So I'm going to have a 0 on this side. I'm going to plus 2 cosine, so it's on the right. So I got 2 cosine squared. 3 cosine was already positive, so plus 3 cosine. And I need to move this positive 2 over to the right side. So it'll be negative 2. All right, next up is going to be to factor this expression. We got a trinomial. I'm going to factor it into 2 binomials here. So these two are going to have to multiply to give me 2 cosine squared. So it's going to be 2 cosine and regular cosine. All right, that's the only way you can get 2 cosine squared. And then these numbers are going to have to multiply to give me 2. So to multiply to give me 2, it's got to be a 1 and a 2 or a 2 and a 1. But I cannot put a 2 here because this 2 and this 2 would have a shared factor or a common factor. But the thing that they came from up here did not have a common factor. So it's going to be a 2 here and a 1 there. Then let's see here. It's going to be different signs. I'm going to have to put my plus sign here and my minus sign here. This way, I would get a 4 cosine. So I'd get a 4 cosine on the outer and a negative cosine on the inner. And this is going to combine to give me 3 cosine. All right. So we got my factored form, and now we're going to set these equal to 0. So we get 2 cosine minus 1 equals 0. We'll solve that here in a sec. And we're going to get cosine plus 2 equals 0. Minus 2 from both sides. Cosine is equal to negative 2. This is impossible. Right? You remember how the graph of cosine looks something like this. And the highest it ever reaches is positive 1. The lowest it ever reaches is negative 1. So cosine itself never reaches a negative 2. All right. So since it never actually dips down this low, this equation would be impossible. All right. So no soul for that one. For this one, though, we're going to have 2 solutions. So plus 1 to both sides. We're going to get 2 cosine. And then divide by 2. We'll get cosine is equal to 1/2. Cosine equals 1/2. That's going to happen. It's positive, so it's going to happen in my first and fourth quadrant. Cosine is equal to positive 1/2 at pi over 3, or 60 degrees, and at negative pi over 3, which is 330, which is 5 pi over 3. So those are my 2 solutions, my base answers. I got pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. I'm separating them out real good so that way I can mess with them in my the next part of this video. So these are my base solutions, and the next thing is going to be seeing if they are on this interval. And I'm actually going to find all the solutions on that interval.